Hey everyone, this is my 35-week pregnancy vlog. I'm a little bit late doing it. My husband had reconstructive shoulder surgery on his, here he comes. I think he's coming. But he had reconstructive shoulder surgery on his right shoulder. The limbrum cartilage was torn. The rotator cuff, they had to smooth some things down. Part of the collarbone. He had an allergic reaction to one of the meds, so he's in there weighing himself. I hear the scale. But he had put 18 pounds on in 2 days in water. They thought that he was retaining fluid, which he was, and so he had to come off that medication. So he is like a woman. He's obsessed about his weight. He just reminds me of a woman. Are you coming out? Weighing himself. Can you say hi?
Hi.
So bless his heart. You want to tell him how you're feeling?
Hurting.
It's time for meds. Okay, I'll hurry so I can help you. So he is doing some exercises and stuff to rebuild the strength. Well, first mobility, and then he'll do some strength stuff to rebuild the strength back into his arm. But I'm proud of him. He will be off work for 3 weeks. He's already been off work for a week, which is his usual week off that he's off. He usually gets a 7-day stretch off a month, and that's what he just took off. And his surgery just happened to fall in between that week off, and then the doctor has him off for 2 more weeks for recovery, and then they'll eval him on the 29th to see where he's at and see if he's able to go back to work at that time. So we're getting a little nervous because she is due. In 2 days, it will be exactly 30 days that she's due. She's due on April 21st. Speaking of her due date, I had an OB appointment yesterday, and I measured 35.5 weeks. Her heartbeat was 144 beats per minute. Well, first I need to say, I guess I had told you guys, well, I know I had told you guys that my doctor wouldn't let me go past my due date. Well, that was an assumption on my part, and I just wanted to get it clear, concrete, in stone, what exactly his medical practice was for going past your due date. So I asked him, I'm 35.5 weeks. Where do you see me in regards to if I get up 40 weeks, what's your procedure on inducing? He was pretty upfront and honest and said, new time moms. Now, I'm not saying all doctors believe this, but this is what I've observed as well. But he said first time moms, if they are induced, they're in labor for an extremely long time. If they're induced, he said, I would love for you just to go, and when she comes, she comes. But he did give us some examples. He said, if you're 38 weeks and you've been dilated to 5 and for a while, I'm going to talk to you about inducting you. I said, okay. And he said, if you're 41 weeks and you have not dilated and she's still in there, then I'm going to talk to you about inducting. I said, okay. He said, just because I don't want your placenta to poop out on us. And I said, okay. So there's some, there's always some conditions why he will induce a first-time mom. So if I go to my April 21st due date and she hasn't come and I'm not dilated, it looks like I will go past 40 weeks to 41 weeks, and he'll talk to us about induction at 41 weeks. Now, I do have the option, he said, of being induced at 39 weeks. If I walk into his office and say, I want to be induced at my 30-week appointment, he will do it. But he looked at Alan and I and said, be prepared. Not all first-time moms are like this, but be prepared. My professional experience is be prepared to be in labor for a long time. I don't want to be induced at 39 weeks. I want her to stay in there as long as she needs to be in there. I want her to stay in there to her due date. I need her to do that. I want her to be as healthy as possible. You in pain, honey? I'm gonna hurry. So, trying to remember what else we asked the doctor. Pregnancy symptoms. I'm having some incontinency, which means urine leakage. Do you want me to get off so I can time you? Urine leakage without really knowing it. Now, I've always had one. If this is TMI for some of you, I'm sorry. Just part of my pregnancy symptoms. I have in a week here, another week there, had leukorrhea, which is just a discharge you have when you're pregnant, that I wore panty liners or a little thicker than panty liner, like a really thin pad, for that discharge so I don't ruin my panties. But 30 seconds each time.
Yes, that's right.
You were going the other way.
I know.
And then you switched.
30 seconds is up. I'm going from 6 to 12. 12 to 6.
So anyhow, so incontinency, I have had some leakage, and he said that is normal for some women. I'm still having the SPD problems, which is that symphysis pubis dysfunction. I'm still sore. It doesn't seem as bad, but what I think it is I'm just getting more used to it. I'm having a harder time sleeping, which doesn't bother me. I've always been one to not sleep well. I have been really focused on taking care of Alan since the 16th. Making sure he's comfortable. He's up and mobile more today, which I'm happy to see. And it's just going to be a recovery period for him. And she's doing well. And even though he wouldn't tell us, we asked him, well, when do you think I'll deliver? You know, he's not psychic. And he's not a betting man. He's a medical, scientific person and goes by medical, terminology. Anyhow, he said, if I was a betting man, which I'm not, I would bet that you're going to have this baby between 39 and 41 weeks. Well, isn't that usually when people have babies? He said, exactly. But we got this feeling when we walked out of there, both of us, that he thinks I'm going to go past my due date. He didn't say that by any means. I don't want you guys to think that he said that, but we just have this feeling we're going to go past the due date. We both felt like she was going to come before because of the problems I were having, but I have this feeling she's going to go past her due date. So anyhow, I'm going to leave you guys here. I know I haven't showed the finalization of Scarlett's nursery yet, and it's because we're not done. We've had a lot of things go on. And so I'm going to get that done. I'm going to be really careful. I've got to do some things up on a step stool, and I promise I'll be careful. And Ellen just can't reach over her head, but there's some things I need to get done on her walls. So I am feeling great. Other than that, I am thinking about Alana. Poor girl. I just watched your video. And Renee. And Callista, you three, I'm really thinking about you. So we will chat with you guys later, and have a great weekend. Bye.